Hello everybody, my name's Kanai Manika, and welcome back to the unboxing, where today there is no time for dilly-dallying, because my favorite SH Figuarts line is returned. That's right, today we are taking a long-awaited look at the SH Figuarts Chainsaw Man Aki Hayakawa. That's right, we finally have the whole main cast all together. I'm so excited. I was legitimately really worried that this figure would never exist. I was in part just I was I was this close to picking up the Figma, even though that thing looked ugly as hell. But right as I was about to bite the fucking bullet on that incredibly expensive figure, Bandai announced that they were doing Aki Hayakawa, and God, am I excited that he's real. And the line seems to be going not like strong, but it still seems to exist. They appear to be doing a capsule for. They seem to be moving on at least to the movie. As of right now, they've only announced a new Chainsaw Man for the movie. They haven't announced anyone else, and I hope they announce some other figures because I really like Reze. I really like the Bomb Devil. I like the characters in that arc. So I hope they do get figures all of their own to go alongside our main cast. But the big thing is that this figure completes the main cast in SH Figuarts form, in my opinion. If the line stopped here, it would be fine. It was a fucking crime that we had to wait this long to get an SH Figuarts figure of Aki Hayakawa, because he's one of the three main protagonists of this part of the story, and it would have been a shame if he was left out. But anyways, that doesn't matter because he's here now, and today we have to take a look at his magnificent box art. So to start off, at the front we have a very similar box to the previous Chainsaw Man's. You can't see it in the camera, but I have it in the wall. You have your window package, which allows you to get a nice, good look at the figure itself and a bunch of the accessories it comes with. Right here it says Chainsaw Man in the text that it uses in the Japanese releases. Aki Hayakawa is written right there. It says SH Figuarts, Aki Hayakawa. It's designed by Tamashi in Japan, released in Vietnam, whatever. All the usual legalese, and we have an image of the figure on a very nice background. You'll notice that it is not colored similarly to the others. It is in blue and purple and red, and this dark red. That is specifically a reference to, I believe, Volume 4, which of the manga, which has Aki Hayakawa in this pose, in this look, with these colors in the background, and I just love that the boxes are doing that. It always makes me so happy as a weird little manga nerd that they are referencing the manga through these package arts. It just makes me so happy all the time. At the top, it simply says SH Figuarts Aki Hayakawa on that nice blood red background. On the bottom, you just get an image of Aki Hayakawa and the usual web support, legalese, and info. You get him using one of his swords. With his name in the background. On this side, you get a promotional image of Aki Hayakawa using Kon. I believe it's the same as the front, just elongated. Some splatter behind him. SH Figuarts Aki Hayakawa. On this side, you get the SH Figuarts quote alongside a continuation of the window. Aki Hayakawa, SH Figuarts, more of that splatter. On the back, you get a fucking shit ton of promotional images. You get him drawing his cursed nail. SH Figuarts, Aki Hayakawa. This is the English release, so the sticker's right there. This is for ages 15 and up. Don't watch this if you're a child. And we just have so many promotional images. Him using his sword, him giving gum to Denji in power, him smoking a cigarette, him with his hair down, which we'll get to, a bunch of his different faces, and this promotional image that shows the main cast, and I'm so glad. I'm just so happy that all these figures exist. I was so worried that we would just leave it at the ones that we had like a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, just the ones from 2023 and 2024. I was worried that this wouldn't continue into 2025, but I'm so glad that it did. And even if I can't get any more because of current world events, fucking god. Anyways, if I can't get any more, this is a fine place to stop if I need to, though I don't plan on it. But anyways, let's get this figure out of the box so that we can finally take a look at Aki Hayakawa. There we go. Pry that out. On the inside, we get instructions. Ooh, we get a bonus instruction, I guess. For some reason. If things get stuck, you can pop out the torso. Got it. I imagine that's what that's meant to say. Or to, like, help if, like, these get warped because they're soft plastic, you can take it off and then tuck it back in. Whatever. You can see a bunch of the instructions here, and there's more instructions on this side if you tear it open, but we'll be fine. I know how to play with my Akis. Anyways. Here we have Aki Hayakawa and everything that he comes with splayed out in the plastic packaging. It's a whole lot of stuff because these Chainsaw Man figures, especially the ones that are humans, have been fucking packed with items, and it makes me so happy as a toy collector. Anyways, plonking them down, we can now take off this layer of plastic, which is on there pretty tightly. I don't think there's tape. There usually isn't. It's just very tight. There we are. There we are, there we are, there we are, there we are, there we are. I guess we'll start off with hands, because they're kind of really wanting to come out. There are a good chunk of them. So first off, alongside the fists that he comes with right out of the package, he comes with a set of open hands, which are fairly small and thin. The SH Figuarts Chainsaw Man tends to be on the small side, figure-wise, and these feel proportionately accurate to what we've been getting so far. They look nice. They're hands. They look like Aki's hands, certainly, but eh. Next up are the big hands that people care about. That's him doing his kon. For whenever he summons a kon to eat somebody or whatever. And these are very well sculpted. They are in that proper pose. Yeah, they look very nice. His fingers are very thin and dainty, which is interesting. But yeah, they work well, and I'm sure they will go great with some of the faceplates. Anyways, as far as hands go, let's take a look at this one. This is interesting, because I think this is somewhat similar to how Sanji did it in the One Piece line, but he also includes a pocketed hand. The paint could be better on the hand itself. It looks a little pale, given... kind of wish there were... It's not focusing. Wow. I kind of wish it was done a little bit better. It feels paler than the actual skin tone, but I get it. It's trying to do a light color on dark plastic. It'll work fine for what it is, for just sticking the hand in the pocket. And you can see there's like little tabs on the back, so you can pop off the front of the like upper thigh or whatever and pop that on. So that's nice. Anyways, as far as hands go, I think we've got a pair of grippers. There's kind of a trio of grippers, it looks like, for different purposes. So you have this one, which I think pairs with this one. I think these are sword-holding hands. And that one fell. Come on. I'll get that out later, because I think this one is the same as that one. This, I believe, is a sword-gripping hand. I think it works for either sword, or maybe this one, due to its rounder nature, only works for the nail and its, like, holder, and, like, or, like, this one... I don't know, it's weird. We got a larger one, which I imagine the larger one has to be holding the sheath, which we'll get to. This one is holding the sword, and that one might be holding this sword, though I think that one might be interchangeable. Let me actually check. Yeah, the two sword-holding hands are the same. So... Alright, just looking at everything. Just making sure... Looks like that just might be a different gripping hand for different purposes, or maybe it is for the whatever. Anyways, he also comes with another set of hands. This one, we'll start here, is very nicely done. It's him offering gum to Denji and Power around the start of, I think, Eternity Devil, probably. The gum sticks are very nicely painted. It's simple enough. Yellow with a little bit of silver at the top, but it's very clean and very nice and doesn't clash with the skin tone all that much. And it just works nicely. And then finally, we have this hand, which probably could have been handled better. As you can see, it's in an interesting pose, and I'm sure you could use it for something, like maybe like he's scratching something. or like itching or whatever. But this is meant primarily for the scariest accessory of all. It comes with 2 cigarettes. They're very tiny. They are on screws, and I will probably leave them on screws until like I really, really need one of them, because I don't want to lose either of these, because god, these are tiny. They are well painted for what they are. They're a long white cigarette with a little black tip, if you can see it. There's a little black tip on the top. It looks nice. I kind of wish one of them had really tiny print that said Easy Revenge, because of the finale of part 1, or season 1, I guess, but that would have been nice. Anyways, moving on to faces. There's no like spare faces like with Luffy. The Chainsaw Man line doesn't do DLC, thankfully. He has a stern, forward-looking face, but on him initially, but alongside that, he has a stern face looking to the side, which, given Aki isn't the craziest expressive character and the other faces that the set comes with, I'm fine with one that looks nice and subtle to the side. It works. It makes sense. But speaking of expressive faces, he has his utter disgust face. I'm sure you could use this for a variety of things. I'm pretty sure this is specifically based on him looking at Denji and or Power when they first enter his home, his apartment. I'm sure you could use this for kicking him in the balls as well. It's very expressive. It's subtle, but it's very nice. It's a very good face. One of the best in this line. The Aki's faces feel way better than the ones that came out over the past couple years. I'm gonna say that much. Anyways, next up, for whenever he's in battle, primarily for this set against Katana Man, probably. He does come with a shouting face. Yeah, something I didn't know. He's got his earrings on every face, which is very nice. On both sides. I have a shouting face. This is a fine face. It looks nice. It looks like Aki. But it's a shouting face. It's how he shouts, to be fair, but yeah. And finally, a face that you knew you had to have, especially given some of the accessories in this set. He has his one eye closed cone face. This pairs well with those hands, I have to imagine. However, alongside those is an accessory that kind of shows why I like this line. You have an alternate head, similar to characters like in the One Piece line, where they have like hatted hair and like non-hatted hair. Ooh, that's a weird looking gash. Oh wait, no, those are for the ears. Never mind, those are fine. We have Aki with his hair down. Now, as far as I remember, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. I don't think he ever has this hair when he's wearing the suit. I believe he only really has his hair down when he's either casual or like in like hospital gowns. It's a little rubbery and it looks a little rough around the edges. That might just be a Vietnam factory thing, but god. When they showed off this accessory, I was like, oh, they still get it. Whoever the fuck is designing these figures in Tamashii Nations, because like some of Aki's most impactful scenes throughout the first season involve him with his hair down. There's like the scenes in his house, there's the scenes again in the hospital. And like you didn't need to include this, but god, am I so happy that they did. And alongside that, there's also the swords. First off, for like later parts of the series, he just has a normal sword. I know they're good at doing swords. I've got Zoro's. And this is just at that level of quality. The wraps are nice and cleanly painted and sculpted around the hilt. And then the hilt itself is also nicely sculpted in that nice, simple, yet clean clover pattern. And the sword itself has a very nice, subtle pattern to it that feels nice and intricate. Bandai knows what they're doing, or Tamashii Nations knows what they're doing when making swords, but more interestingly is that he concludes another, that being the nail. Different hiltage, though similar enough to the katana. Where it really gets interesting is up here. It obviously just becomes a sharp little nail, and this is his curse nail specifically. He uses it against mainly Katana Man. It allows for a special attack, which is always nice to see, and it's very nicely done. I like the little ridging down at the base of the nail. Obviously, there's like that there. That looks very nice. But what is impactful for this is that it comes with its sheath. Again, very nicely done. I like the way that the rope that goes around his body is sculpted. I like the colors that they use. I like how cleanly it's painted. If you can see it, I like how cleanly it's painted. It looks nice. The bottom also has some nice sculpting, but something you may be asking, especially if you've seen stuff like SH Zoro or most SH Figuarts One Piece, most SH Figuarts characters that have swords with sheaths, is where's the hilt? Well, this shouldn't be too crazy. I'm usually either way on sheathing swords on action figures. Like, I get why some don't do it. This could probably like chip the paint for something that's going to be used very infrequently in posing. It makes sense, but for Aki, one of the most impactful things that he does is unsheath the sword, if it'll focus, ask him how long he has left, and then he closes it again. And oh my god, you can recreate that with this figure. There's just so many little smart decisions that have gone into so many of the figures of this line. The worst one is Makima, mainly because she has some weird engineering compromises, but even still, she has a bunch of those little decisions that show that whoever's on this line really likes Chainsaw Man and really wants to represent it in an action figure form in a very great way. And that's just looking at the accessories. Now we've got to take a look at the figure itself. There's the other hand. Also, yeah, it's just another gripper, similar to the one that we looked at earlier. But here we have Haki. Let's get those feet unjammed. He's got a fairly large little thing there. But yeah, so let's get the obvious out of the way. Fairly simple design, as is fitting for Aki Hayakawa. He's just a guy in a suit. He is the most straight-laced of our devil hunters, our public safety devil hunters. And it reflects here he is dressed fairly nicely, though he does wear some fairly casual shoes. He wears tennis shoes, I imagine, because dress shoes don't work for doing action or whatever. But, he's straight-laced. He's got his hair up in his iconic top knot. If it'll fucking focus. Oh my goodness. He's got his hair up in his iconic top knot. And overall, it makes this neutral face look very nice. I like how it looks again. This Aki has some of the best faces in the line so far. The suit has a subtle grayness to it. There's not a lot of paint, let's be fair to ourselves here. It's mostly just unpainted plastic. Where there is paint, it does look very clean. Like, imagine there's paint there, and that's nice and clean. There's paint on the torso, and that's also clean. The foot paint, while looking a tad chalky, is clean, as mentioned before. And yeah, just a clean figure overall. And it just very well sculpted as well. The suit does look like it's made out of folding like real fabric does, even if it does hide the jointage well. But what surprised me the most in looking at promotional stuff of this figure is how well it poses for a suited body, because suited bodies tend to be fairly restricted. The Figma Aki was restricted because you have to get the nice tailored look of the figure, but this would make some light sculpting compromises, like the torso shape, for the sake of that articulation. So, let's get into it. There's ball joints at the top of the neck and the bottom of the neck, which allows them to look up decently far, and down decently far, if it'll fucking focus, and tilt side to side very, very well. Nice and expressive. He's got this sort of torso arrangement, which allows him to have some pretty damn great butterflies, which are able to go forward that far and backward fairly decently as well. However, the shoulders go into the shoulder caps rather than the shoulder caps going up, though I imagine they can do that a little bit as well. And it works fairly well. This is kind of what Zoro was going for, the pre-timeskip Zoro, but failed at doing. They did it right, though. Anyways, and it's able to go all the way around, as you would expect. There is a bicep swivel, just a simple cut. Double jointed elbows that are able to go all the way. That's nice. Double jointed elbows, especially on Figuarts, can tend to have their own limitations, but this one is not so. He's able to just get his elbow moving if it'll fucking focus. Anyways, hand moves like a normal hand, a little bit limited by the cuffs. Ooh. I think the internal cuff also has a little bit of articulation, which allows for downward and upward to be a little bit more extreme. Usual Figuarts hinges, though. For the torso, upper torso has some very good side to side, honestly. Come on. Good side to side. Fucking hell. Oh my god, I wish I could just... anyways, some good to side, and also has that swivel, but also crunches very well for a suited figure. The back does kind of bunch out of it a little bit, and you get a little bit of gappage, but it works fine. And it's a little hard to get it back under if you need to, because it does shift around a little bit because of this being like an overlay. But there's also a ball joint down at the waist, which allows for even more swivel, even more forward back, and even more tiltage. Which allows for that, and well... yeah, that's good. That's good. It isn't perfect, obviously, but it is good. And then, as far as going backward, yeah, very good for a suited figure. I'm very happy with it. As far as legs go, you may think it's impeded by this because the joints are going up into the jacket, but it's the same soft plastic that was used back with the Katana Devil, Katana Man, Samurai Sword, whatever. It's the same thickness as that. It's the same material as that, so it's able to get out of the way far better than most traffic coning does, which I'm very glad for. So it's able to kick forward that far back a little bit, stopped by some butt sculpting, though. And outward, it gets a little limited by the suit jacket. Also, as a quick note, they did paint the belt, if you can see that. There we go, yeah. Which is very impressive. They sculpted the pants, painted the belt. Anyways, you do get a thigh swivel, very nice and generous. You get double jointed knees, which are able to go all the way. Again, and a big limitation for what I've seen is the ankles. They are, because of the boot cuffs, they're able to go forward fairly decently, not amazingly. That's pairing it with a ball joint. I think there's a ball joint at the top and the hinge at the bottom, which goes up that far, downward hinges that far, has serviceable ankle tilt. That's not bad at all. And then it's able to swivel, obviously, and has a toe bend. So yeah, this figure, despite being suited, is still able to pose like a dream. And yeah, it's another Chainsaw Man figure art, which means, as they have been mostly so far, it is very, very, very exceptional as a figure. And their biggest dud is Makima. And even still, I like elements of that figure. But the Denji is good. It's a bit of reuse, but it's good. The power is really good. The Katana Man is really good. The Chainsaw Man is really good. And this is really good. Yeah, I'll have to wait to see what that next Chainsaw Man's like. It does look a little bit repetitive and light on accessories, so it may, I guess, be a little bit worse for wear in that department. However, I'm really happy with this. Give me a sec. Is there... No, there's no swivel there. That's fine. Anyways, I'm really happy with this figure, and I do recommend it if you get the chance. But yeah, that's this video. Hopefully you enjoy me covering this line, because I do plan on covering it even more. We'll have to see with how world events are going, but as long as everything goes fine, I will continue to buy these Chainsaw Man figures. They're probably going to be the last ones that if I need to like cut down, this is one of the last lines I'll drop. It's very good. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Don't forget to do all the usual YouTube stuff. It always helps me with, I guess, motivation and getting videos out there to people who might enjoy them. Let me know what you think in the comments below of Chainsaw Man, of this line, of whatever. Yeah, until next time, I guess, I'll see you all in another video. Hopefully now I'm implementing screen clickers, so if you want to click something on the screen, hopefully you're able to, but till next time, bye-bye!